debug this character controller, but I don't want to give you the answer essentially. I don't, I just want you to figure it out because it's really not difficult. But what I was trying to debug was this. When you jump and you're idle, it jumps fine. And you can see it here in the animator with the transitions. Um, the transition works perfectly. The only issue is while you're walking, um, that you can't like jump at the same time. Like it'll sometimes it'll read it and sometimes it won't. So that was what I was trying to debug. So I know what the issue is, but I would rather you guys figure it out instead of me telling you how to fix it because then you're not going to learn. Um, but it works, it's functional, and it's completely okay if your character controller is weird like this for this week's prototype. It's totally fine. However, once you make your midterm game, it's not going to be acceptable because I want you to upload your best version of the work. And you have 3 to 4 other people in your group, so I am certain and positive that 1 or 2 of you will figure it out. But anywho, this character controller is pretty much done. The only thing that we need to do is to actually turn it into a prefab. So once you put in all like the coin collecting code and the jump sounds and the damage code and all that stuff, the damage might not work the same way because it's going from any state to damage. Perhaps what you will actually need to do is to delete this transition and make it from idle to damage and from walk to damage, just the exact same way that we did with the jump animation. That's probably what you will have to do to make the damage animation work properly. But I'm going to let you figure it out. If it's really an issue, and if a lot of people are not getting it, then I will go over it in a video separately. But essentially, all this stuff is done. So what we want is to go to the controller, and we're going to make it into a prefab. How do we make it into a prefab? Very easily. So I'm just going to close all this stuff. I actually made a folder called prefab, so if you don't have one, make it. And I'm just going to drag this custom alien to this folder. And that's how you make a prefab. It's already done. This is the one that I made in class, which I called something else. The one that I made in class also has a circle collider 2D, and this one I have it as a box collider 2D. It really doesn't matter because our functionality doesn't depend on it being a circle or a square. So don't worry about that. So once you turn something into a prefab, it turns blue. And that's a question that somebody had asked me before. And that's what this means. All your prefab items are always blue. I recommend also doing prefabs for coins. That way, they have all the functionality that they need. It has a coin tag. And once, so let me actually show you that really quick. So let me open up the scripts. I'm just gonna uncomment some of the lines here, like the jumping sounds and the coin collection stuff. Oh, I also didn't make a Game Master prefab, but I will do that in a minute. So I'm just gonna do the Game Master stuff and the audio. Let's see what else we need here. I'm not gonna do the health stuff right now. Here it is. So this backslash asterisk is a way to comment more than one line at the same time. And I have it down here too to close it out so that this curly bracket closes my entire script. Cool. So the only thing that I turned down was the coin collecting stuff and then the jumping sounds, which is right here. Let me save that. Oh yeah, so I'll show you how to bring in the GM. Let me get this sound effects and save. And where is my GM? Oh yeah, so that's in the first scene. So I'm gonna take this Game Master prefab and I'm gonna highlight that prefab folder and just drag the Game Master in so we make it into a prefab. And then I'm gonna open up that controller test scene. Do you want to see the changes? I didn't do anything to it. But anywho, so now that we have this coin here, we'll take the prefab and then drag in the Game Master inside. That way you can read all this stuff. Oh, it's not going to read the UI because the UI is not attached to it. So let's make a prefab out of the UI system too. In fact, I'm going to delete this camera completely and I'm going to prefab the entire camera from the other scene. So this main camera had all the UI stuff in it and my background image. So that's why I just prefab the whole thing. Now when I open the controller test, save it, and then I'm going to bring in that prefab camera inside. That way it has all the UI stuff in it. I may have to add the sprites back again. Let's see. In the script. Oh no. Oh, that's right. We don't have to add anything to it because it was already prefabbed. But let me make sure. Okay, cool. The only thing that's missing is the character. And we're just gonna bring in the character right here in that camera follow. Cool. So let me save and let's see if all this stuff works. It should. Oh, well, at least the coin works. The jump works. Let's see what this null reference is. You might have all these issues too. Object reference not sent. Okay, so that means that I'm missing. So in the Game Master, I forgot to allocate the text in here, and probably in the main camera where our health system stuff, it says I may be missing something. What am I missing? Health system object reference not set to an instance of an object. What is it? Oh. Hold on, let's see. Sorry, I'm like debugging while I'm on the camera. Oh, okay, that's there. Wait, let's test this. Okay, so it is showing. So why isn't it showing here though? Oh, there it is. This works. So it is jumping. That's something that I'm gonna let you fix. But I can see that I didn't change the point when I actually collected it. It didn't change to 1. But anywho, that's something that you can fix really easily. I'm not gonna go over it. Because it's something that you can fix. And I don't want to waste time on it. If you have issues with it, just go back to the other videos, and figure it out. It's probably something that I didn't allocate properly. I probably forgot to tag something, or something like that. Cool. So that's pretty much everything that you need to know for this week. Just make sure that your coin collection and your UI and your points are actually all working instead of mine. Because that's all really about copy pasting. I probably forgot to delete something or add something to the custom character controller that I have here, which is probably why it's being strange. I don't know exactly what it is right now off the top of my head. But yeah, just make sure that you're allocating things properly. And then when you're making prefabs, you're putting it in the right folder and adding it to the scene. But that's pretty much how I want you all to bring in stuff from other scenes to new scenes.